Hello chums, Randy here. Just thought I'd do a quick update on my long neglected Rhino. When we last left it, I had base coated it with some pre-shading done to try to give some shadows in the recesses and corners and things like that. I had put the I went ahead and put the decals on, and I think my next step was to get the decals faded in and start the weathering and go from there. Well, I think I mentioned before when I put the top decal on the top hatch there, I messed that up, had to repaint the top hatch and do it again. Anyway, I finally got all that done, and I've started some weathering. The first thing I did was to take a very thin mixture of Tamiya buff paint and spray that, I guess somewhat modestly, just to try and tone down the green and blend the decals into the paint, so it didn't, look just very stark on top of the green paint. That also gives it a bit of a dusty looking effect. After I was satisfied with that overall, I continued on with the buff, a little bit heavier on the bottom areas, and spraying up to try and create sort of a dusty effect, the dust roiling up from the ground, and did that around the vehicle. After that was completed, I took a thin oil wash, black oil, Winsor & Newton black, lamp black I think is what I used, thinned pretty copiously, and started around the bolt heads and again into the various recesses on the model to create depth and shadow. I did forget to mention before the oil wash, after the buff but before the oil wash, I gave it a spray of a gloss lacquer based coat to help the oil flow. I think I used Model Masters clear lacquer, a clear gloss. So then whip back with the black wash around the bolt heads, various recesses around the details, just to try to bring those out and reinforce that shadow. After you kind of dust it up a little, some of those shadows tend to fade out. Okay, so next I took again Winsor & Newton oils, black, burnt umber, and a white, and just took just straight out of the tube, no thinning at all, and put tiny little dots in random locations on the model, tending to have the lighter colors at the top and the darker at the bottom, but that wasn't universal. And then with a wide brush, just loaded with turpentine or spirits, just drawing the brush down across the dots I had placed on there, and that gives it kind of a runny, streaky effect. And you can sort of control where that color goes. But the idea is just to give it to have all the colors blended together and give it effect of kind of running across the model from rain or other things that would run down the sides. And so that is all the weathering I have done on it thus far. After that was completed, I started to base coat some of the details on the model. The stone figures on the doors, the exhaust pipes, the weapons, smoke launchers, etc. Those have just been base coated and a wash given to the metal areas. And I washed the stone as well. And that is it for the current state of it. The next thing will be to go back and and do some highlights. I've also got a bit more base coating to do in the lights, for example, and other areas. So yeah, so we'll do some highlights, and then we'll do some more weathering. We'll try to do a few chips and scratches on the edges. I'm not going to go crazy with it, but I'll probably put a few on just to kind of go with the dusty, worn look that it's got going on already. And then we'll do some pigments at the bottom for dust, mud, etc. And of course the tracks, we'll dust them up, mud them up a little bit. So that's all for now. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks, and have a great day.